Hey guys, welcome back, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to transfer your drawings onto the canvas, or alternatively how to trace your actual images and transfer them onto canvases. This will be a technique that you can use in case you might not have the drawing experience to start sketching onto canvases and to save time during the whole process. So firstly, what you're going to need for this process is an actual screen, if your computer screen, or you can have your image traced over a window that is available for you to do so you can trace the image over a piece of paper. This, for now, I'm using my computer screen to actually trace my image so I can transfer it onto my canvas. And how this is done is you open up your image ready on your computer screen or have it printed from a printer, and you trace over your actual image, making sure that you get all the necessary aspects out of the actual drawing that you'll transfer later on. For the next one, I'm going to be tracing this avocado that I have selected on my monitor, and I'll be repeating the same process when I'm tracing over this avocado, basically getting the basic shapes out of the way so that I can have it ready to be transferred onto the canvas later on. Now, once the images are traced and ready to transfer, you would have your plain canvas that is ready to transfer the images onto. Right now, this is a plain piece of canvas that I have available in order for me to show you how this works. So these are the two pieces of images that I already traced earlier on that I would have ready to trace onto my canvas. You'd put them aside, have them ready, so you can go on to the next step. I then add a piece of tape in the middle of the actual canvas to separate the two drawings between each other, so that makes it easier to start painting when I start my practice and I start my painting session. The next thing you'll need for this process is charcoal. This is charcoal that can be used on canvases or paper. The whole point of charcoal is to transfer the actual drawing from the traced image that you have done in the beginning of the actual process. Now, what you're going to do is that you're going to go over the back of the drawing with the charcoal, spreading the charcoal as much as you can to have as much charcoal spread out on top, or actually behind of the actual drawing, so that the majority of the space that you cover with your charcoal covers as much area as it can, so that you can be ready to transfer the actual drawing when you're done. As I'm doing right now, I'm going over the area that I'd like to have transferred onto the canvas myself, and making sure that I cover as much area as I can. The next thing that you'll need for this process is cotton ball. And how this works is that you're going to spread the charcoal evenly. Spread as much charcoal as you can, basically smudging the charcoal that you have behind of your drawn image, so that when that's done, you can then go over again just to make sure that there is more than enough charcoal spread over the back of your drawing to help you transfer the image when you're ready, as soon as this aspect is done. And as soon as that's done, what you'll now do is turn over the actual drawing yourself, and you would see the areas that you might have missed from behind. But if you're all good to go, you can now place it down on the actual canvas. Use a piece of tape to tape down the drawing, having it ready to go. And from this point on, you would just have to tape areas that you need to tape down in order for the actual drawing to be strong and sturdy. And when that's done and sorted, you would now move on to the next step. And now the next process is that you take an actual pen or some sharp material that you can use, but for this case I prefer a pen, because a pen can actually push the lines from the drawing and transfer them onto the canvas. Now what you're going to do is that you're going to go over your drawing, making sure that you go over the lines as much as you can, the areas that you traced, so that you cover those aspects of the drawing. So what this is doing is that it is transferring the actual image from your paper onto the canvas, because you've already put enough charcoal on behind of your traced image, and that acts as a sort of a transferable base that you can use to transfer the lines that are drawn from the image on top, that will transfer onto the actual canvas without having to sketch anything on the canvas. So this process, you go a bit slow in order to get most of your details out of the way, and when that's out of the way, you then make sure that you're not missing areas that you missed before during the drawing or during the tracing process. And just to double check, you go over some lines that might not have transferred successfully the first time. So for the second one, which is the sphere, you repeat the same process as you did with avocado, and you transfer the actual charcoal from the charcoal sticks onto the actual drawing. You smudge it again, smudge as much as you can, and at this point, what you're going to do is repeat the same process as you did with the first avocado traced transferred image. Make sure that there's enough graphite behind the actual drawing. Tape it down, make sure things are solid enough for you to start going, and you then take a pen when you are ready to actually move to the next step, and you simply just trace over the sphere as you did with the actual avocado. Make things a lot more easier, taking as much time as you can, because anything that you trace from this point would reflect on the actual canvas below, because you're essentially just transferring the actual image through the paper that you traced earlier, using the graphite as a form of transferable ink in a way, but not necessarily ink because it's graphite, and this will act as a transferable sheet that you could use time and time again without struggling too much or focusing too much about actual sketching. So at this point, you see that your traced image has been fully transferred. Sometimes when the image isn't fully transferred, because sometimes the charcoal might be not necessarily as strong as before, what you can do is you just go over with a pencil lightly and you go over the marks that you've missed previously, just to make sure that you have your drawing solid and fully ready to actually see and start painting with as a point of reference. So I'm just going over a couple of details that might have looked lighter when I traced over the charcoal paper transfer, just to make sure that I have enough details when I am painting to see what is going on my canvas. So I do this, I take as much time as I need, trying to transfer the actual image and going over it slowly, but also making sure that I get most of the detail that I need to see onto the actual canvas paper. And there you have it, guys. This is how you transfer your drawings. If in case you might not know how to draw, this saves time in most cases when you just want to learn how to paint, and gets you ready for painting. So for this class exercise, I'd like you to take your images and trace them onto your canvas that is raw, so that we can learn how to trace and transfer images from our drawings onto the canvas and be ready to start painting.